Hi, in this video we are going to learn the 11th program, design, develop code and run the program in any suitable language to implement a quicksort algorithm. Here we are going to implementing the quicksort algorithm. So this algorithm we are going to test by using a basis part testing technique. Means same which we have applied a technique for absolute grading procedure and as well as binary search code. Same basis part testing technique we are applying for the quicksort algorithm. This is the problem statement where we have to write the test cases and as well as we need to discuss the test results. This is the requirement specification for the quicksort algorithm. There are three requirement specifications are there. One is the system should accept the array which is ranges from a to n minus 1 defined by its left and right indices, that is L and as well as R of L minus L is less than R. And requirement specification is we have to do the partitions subarray using the first element as a pivot element. Based on that we will do the partition of the whole array, and then so in that partition we are going to sort the based on the algorithm, that is quicksort algorithm, that is partition of A of L R with the split position returned as this position value, where this is the third requirement specification. So next I will directly go to the program. Here this is the program. Now I will tell you the major difference between which we have followed the basis part testing technique for the two programs, that is absolute letter grading procedure and binary search program. If the program or C program, if the program is having a function that is outside the main program, if you are writing any major functions or algorithms, those algorithms, for those algorithms only we will going to draw the, or else we will going to apply the basis part testing technique. I'll repeat, the binary search program, there is no any function which we have written outside the main program, and as well as absolute letter grading procedure, for that program also we have not written outside the main function any functions. But in case of quicksort algorithm we are writing two functions which are outside the main program. Therefore, so for those main programs we are writing the, or we are applying the basis part testing technique, not for the main program, because basically we are concentrating on how the quicksort algorithm works, that we need to test for a given input parameter list. So therefore here we are not applying our basis part testing technique for a main program. Here we are applying basis part testing technique for functions which are written outside the main program. You can see here we have written two functions which are outside the main program. This is the main program up to 17th line, but if from the 18th line onwards, so our qsort function will starts. Okay, so and then it will going to end in the line number 28. This is the function where we have written outside the main program. This is one function. Similarly, we have written one more function, that is partition. So that partition function starts from the line number 29 and it's end with the line number 41. Okay, and sorry 45. And then so here this is the swapping function. It is not a major function, therefore we are not writing any basis part testing technique for this swapping function. Just we are writing the applying the basis part testing technique for two functions. One is for qsort function and second one is for partition function. Okay, so please all of you go through with the program, then you will come to know that so how this algorithm works. So now I'll move to directly the testing technique. So here we are applying the basis part testing technique. So under this basis part testing technique, so we are also calling it as I told structural testing or white box testing technique. So this testing technique has been given by the MACUPS, therefore we are calling it as a MACUPS basis part testing technique. So in this technique we are following the four steps. One is we need to compute the program graph. Second step we have to follow the, or else we need to calculate the cyclomatic complexity to identify the linearly independent path, and then so we need to select those basis set of path or linearly independent path, and then so for those paths we have to write the test cases. Okay, these are the four steps we need to follow under the basis part testing technique. Now so I am writing a testing, we are going to testing the qsort function first, and then we are going to testing the partition. Okay, so these are the two functions which we have written outside the main program. These are the major technique also or algorithm also. So for this algorithm only we will going to test first. Okay, therefore so first step is 1. So from which line a qsort is started and which line the qsort is ended, and then so we need to follow that procedure. Now you can see here our qsort function is started in the line number 18. Okay, and then it starts with the line number 19 and then 20, 21, 22 up to 28th line number. Okay, in the line number 21 we have a if condition. Based on this condition, so inside the bracket line number 22 to 26 which will going to execute if this condition is true. Else so we are coming out from this quicksort function by returning the sum value if this condition is true. Okay, else we are coming out and then we are doing the next operations or next conditions we are executing. Just very simple. Here it starts in the line number 18 and then it will execute next line number 19 and 20. So here it is a declaration statement, okay, which is there inside the so this function, therefore we have to consider this. Then so 21 is the conditional statement. Condition is true, then I will execute 22, 23, 24, 25. So and then so it will be end with the condition statement will end with the 26 by returning some value. Okay, we are closing that function in the line number 28. You can see here starts with the line number 18, then 19, 20, 21. 21 is the conditional statement. If condition, this condition is true, then I will execute 22, 23, 24, 25, and then we are ending with the line number 26. The line number 26 is nothing but closing bracket where we are ending, and then so it will return some value in the line number 27, and also you can use 28 also to stop the execution. Okay, this is how a program graph is drawn for your qsort function. Okay, then we need to write the ddpath table for this graph. Now this will becomes first and this node will becomes last, and in between so these two nodes are continuous execution or sequential execution, therefore we can merge together. Then this will be replaced with the one name, that is A, and here it is a conditional statement, therefore we need to treat it as separate node. Here these are all the continuous execution, then I can change 22 to 25 with one more name, that is C. 18 is the first node, 27 is the last node, 19, 20 sequential execution I can replace I can condense these two nodes with the by name A, and then 21 is the conditional node. I can't condense this node, therefore I need to write it as separate DD path name. 22 to 25 I can condense these nodes by using some DD path name, that is C here. Okay, and then 26 is separate node and 27 is so last node. So this is how we have written DD path table. Now similarly we need to replace this program graph with this DD path names. Now here we have replaced it, now it becomes very small graph that we are calling it as a DD path graph for qsort function. Now here we need to identify the number of nodes and number of edges to calculate the cyclomatic complexity. How many nodes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 nodes are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 edges are there. So here you can see 6 nodes, 6 edges plus 1 program graph now. Therefore it is P is 1 connected nodes. So then 6 minus 6, 0, 0 plus 2, 2. How many independent paths are existed? The linearly independent paths are only 2 linearly independent paths are. Then you can see here First path is first A, B, D last. Second path is first A, B, C, D last. These are the two paths are existed in this QSORT function. So for that I need to write the test cases. So to check this path, so what I need to do? Here you can see these are the testing table. Test case ID is 1, test case ID is 2. Here I am going to test the path P1. Here next path is P2. Now whenever I am testing a path P1, I need to specify random inputs 29175. My expected output result will be a sorted one, and then actual output result, then the status will be a pass. Okay, now you can see based on this function only, so I need to test. Okay, here I have called a partition. This is the function which I am going to call. So when I passing this parameter for this function, and it is initialized with some variable name, that is s. So now I am going to check this condition, and then I am passing this parameter, and then it will move over here, then it will calculate, and then it will sort it out, and then swapping function will works, and it will swap according to that. Then QSort will going to gives the output result by passing these values. Okay, therefore here I am going to give a values P1, this is the input, and this will be the sorted output and actual output, then pass. If path P2, if only one element is there, then no need to apply the sorting technique. Getting my point? There is no need of doing the partitions. Therefore if only one element is there in that array, itself will be the sorted element. Therefore my execution will be directly from 18, 19, 20, 21 to 26 and 27. Therefore or else I can write this path first A, B, D and last. So this is what, if one element is present, then there is no need to apply the swapping function and partition function. Directly itself will be the sorted element. Therefore it is pass. That is the path we are traversing through P2. This is how we have written a DD path table, DD program graph, DD path graph, and calculated the cyclomatic complexity and written test cases for the QSort function. Similarly, so we have to write the test cases for your partition functions. So now similarly I need to follow the partition function, where from which line it is started, then I need to draw the program graph, then DD path table, DD path graph, and then cyclomatic complexity, test linear, identify the linearly independent path, and based on that path I need to write the test cases. Now so I'll go to the program. In this program where the partition function started, the partition function started from the line number 29. Clear? From line number 29 to 45 the partition function is started. Therefore here you can see line number 29 to 45 I have drawn a program graph. Well, before drawing the program graph, now I'll need to check the line by line nodes, how they are connected with each other, and what is the flow of control. So now you can see after 29 I need to execute 30 and then 31. 31 is some variable we have declared, and 32 some initialization is going on. 33 we are once again I value is initialized, j value is also from line number 35 you can see this is the looping statement. Now this looping statement is started in the line number 35 and it will going to end in the line number 41. Clear? So now with respect to that only I will check the condition in the program graph. Now 35 looping statement is started and which will going to end in the line number 41. Clear? So from the 41 once again it needs to go back and check the condition. Once the condition is false, then directly it will jump to the line number 42. If the condition is false, then it needs to jump to the line number 42. Correct? Getting my point? 35. So in the line number 35, check this condition. This is the looping statement. If the loop condition is true, then up to 41 the loop statement will continues. line number 41, go back to line number 35, test this condition. If condition is true, then execute it, then come out from the loop statement, check the looping statement. Until and unless this while loop condition is true, we need to execute continuously this looping statement, that is from node number 35 to node number 1. Once this line 35 becomes false, then I need to go to directly to the line number 42. What is there in the line number 42? Swapping function. Okay, so inside the program, if the line number 35 is true, then I need to execute 36. 36 once again itself will be the looping statement, and then if the condition is true, then I need to do a I++. If 36 is true, then 37 will execute. If 36 itself will be false, then I need to jump to the 38. Okay, so now we will check this condition. Go to inside the statement, 36 is a looping statement, then 37 will execute, then this loop will be continuous. If 36 becomes false, then I need to go to the line number 38. Means see, there is no any connection in between 37 to 38. I need to connection or control flow should come from 36 to 38. Now 38 is once again, it is also a looping statement. Here 38 is once again looping statement. This loop is condition is true, then I need to execute j minus minus. Okay, then 38 is true, then 39 should execute. So once again, until and unless 38 node will becomes false, then I need to repeat this condition. If once this becomes false, then I need to jump to line number 40 and end with the 41. Okay, now you will see that condition. So now see, 38 itself will be the looping statement, then 31 will execute, then this will repeat. Once 38 becomes false, then I need to jump to line number 41 and it needs to end with the 41, 40 and 41. 41 is nothing but it is a outside the loop. Once again the controller needs to go back to the 35. If this 35 condition becomes false, then I need to come directly to the line number 42. Okay, the line number 42 is nothing but it is a closing of the while loop statement. Then here I need to swap, the function will execute. Okay, and then it is ended with the line number 45. Two swap functions, that is line number 42, 43, then 44 and 45 we are ending. This is how we have drawn a program graph for your partition function. Then for this partition function, so we need to draw a DD path table. This is the line number 29, 29 will act as a first node, and 45, 45 will act as a last node. Okay, then 31 is there, 31 it directly connected to the 35, 35 and 36 are the looping statement. We need to write it as all the nodes separately. Only 42 to 44, these are the sequential execution of nodes. Therefore I have condensed it together and I have written it as a one DD path name I. Then remaining will be followed as a B, C, D up to I. Okay, and then for this graph, so I need to replace with these names, and then this graph will looks in this fashion. And for this graph I need to identify the cyclomatic complexity, means I need to identify the linearly independent path. So how many nodes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. 11 nodes are there, 13 edges are there, plus so 2 into 1, so P is there, that is connected graph, and then therefore 13 minus 11 plus 2 is nothing but 4, means 4 linearly independent DD paths are there in the given graph. So now I need to identify those independent paths. How to identify these independent paths? So just identify the path. For example, first A, B, C, D, then C, then E, then F, then E, then G. Okay, like that. So you need to identify the path up to a last node. Once this execution will continuous, check whether it is a feasible path or not, or else whether we are getting a valid output results or not. Okay, so based on that we may have to write the path. Now I have written a path. See here, first is first node, and then I will visit A, then I will visit B, C, D, C. Here this is the looping statement. Then I will jump to E, F, E. Okay, then looping statement will terminate. Then I'll move to the G node, G, H. Then once again I need to go back to the B. then I, then last. This is my first path which I have identified. So this path, if I am traversing the inputs to sort, okay, what happens? If let us consider this is the path P1 test case, here these are the my inputs which array element which I have specified for your program. Now this will going to traverse so through this path, and then we are getting output result. This is the expected output result. Okay, now I will tell you how many elements are there. 6 elements are there. So therefore here 2 elements are same element are repeated, but first two inputs and last two inputs are changing. So based on that we have to specify the input parameter list. Then first A, B, C, D, C, E, G, H, B, I and last. This is next path which I have identified. Okay. So if I am traversing through this path, my testing path will be a, so you can see here 4, 3, 6, 1, 2. These are the different set of input I have specified here. The elements are very less, okay, which will going to traverse through this path, and then based on the partition, if I done a partition, now let us consider this is the pivot element, and then right side we are having a lesser than value with respect to the pivot element, then do the partition and then swap it and then merge it. Okay, so this is how we are doing. And then here also same thing, here two elements are having a same value, then this is the pivot element, check the pivot element, then uh, do the partition and then swap those values if they are greater than lesser than based on the condition, and then so we need to so execute it. So this is how we have written a different test cases for the these four paths. Then here if one element is there, I told if only one element is there, there is no need to do anything. Therefore it will execute in this fashion, first A, B, I and last. So now you can see first A, B, I and last. This will be the if one element is there. If elements are more than that, if less 2 is a value which is having a very smallest value, 9 is very biggest value, then 5 is average value, then once again it is repeated 2 value, then 6 value. So these are the values which you need to specify in such a way that where your valid input variable needs to traverse to this path only. In such a way that you need to specify these inputs. This is about your so quicksort algorithm using a basis part testing technique. So please go through with this video. Is there any doubts? Please ask me through WhatsApp or through YouTube channel. Comment on this video, subscribe this video, like this channel. So is there any doubts? You can ping me at any time. Thank you.